She once moonwalked across 80s TV screens, choreographing stars before topping charts herself. Now at 62, Paula Abdul crafts Broadway beats and mentors dancers, choosing artistry over fame's flash. From straight-up to straight-up trailblazer, her rhythm hasn't missed a step. Like gravel in a riverbed, her voice carved unforgettable curves through pop rock. Total eclipse of the heart burned into 80s memory. Now 73, Bonnie Tyler leans into legacy, recording a broad and inspiring genre-bending artists who find power in imperfection. She once redefined rebellion in lace gloves and rosaries. Now Madonna at 66 blends motherhood, NFT art, and provocative tours. Never nostalgic, always reinventing, her Like a Prayer era made pop sacred, but today she's the high priestess of self-curation and cultural critique. Love is a Battlefield once turned heartbreak into an anthem of defiance. At 72, Pat Benatar still commands the mic like a maestro, touring with her longtime partner, writing new work, and mentoring indie rockers who hear their own fight in her fire. Kids in America roared through radios in the 80s. Now Kim Wilde curates her garden and her sound, blending rock roots with a love for nature. The peroxide blonde rebel turned radio presenter, she's proof that pop stars can bloom again, this time on their own terms, in full creative control. I Will Always Love You soared beyond the charts. It became a monument. Whitney Houston's legacy, though cut short in 2012, remains a masterclass in vocal precision and soul. Her influence shapes today's powerhouse vocalists, echoing in every belt, run, and whispered note across generations. With Girls Just Want to Have Fun, she painted pop in Technicolor. Now 71, Cyndi Lauper channels her vibrant energy into advocacy and Broadway scores. Once a punk pop pioneer, now a tireless activist, she reshapes culture not through volume, but through voice, vision, and fearless authenticity. From stadiums pulsing with conga to quiet stages where stories unfold in song, Gloria Estefan dances through decades of reinvention. The Cuban-American icon fused Latin rhythms with pop glory, and now pens memoirs and musicals, still moving audiences, just to a subtler, richer rhythm. She once lit arenas with Heaven is a Place on Earth. Now at 66, Belinda Carlisle's voice echoes through temple retreats and intimate indie sessions. Trading pop stardom for spiritual depth, she fuses music and mindfulness. Less stadium thunder, more soul's whisper. Rhythm Nation wasn't just a hit, it was a movement. Now 59, Janet Jackson blends legacy and innovation, headlining global tours while shaping sound with Gen Z collaborators. More than Michael's sister, she's the blueprint for pop justice, stage control, and reinvention. Before we continue these amazing celebrity transformations, here's a quick challenge for you. Can you subscribe to ThenVsNow Legends in the next 5 seconds? Smash that subscribe button and join us on this journey through time with your favorite stars. Like a Nordic ballad carried on icy wind, her voice once soared with ABBA's bittersweet shimmer. At 79, Annie Frid Lyngstad lends that voice quietly now, supporting environmental causes and mentoring Swedish artists crafting their own Eurovision dreams. She was 17, writing chart toppers in her bedroom. Now 54, Debbie Gibson scores musicals, tours nostalgic festivals, and mentors young women navigating fame. From Foolish Beat to fierce independence, she's proof teen idols can age into architects of their own legacy. Smoke sequins and a voice that cut through late 80s synth, Taylor Dayne made Tell It to My Heart a dance floor heartbeat. Now 63, she's still commanding stages and producing indie tracks, proving you don't need a labels machine when your voice still ignites like a neon flare. She was disco's high priestess. Last Dance became more than a hit. It was gospel. Though Donna's summer passed in 2012, her bold sound architecture still shapes dance music. From vinyl to digital streams, her influence pulses on, fierce and unfiltered, in every thumping bass line. From Grease megastar to healing voice, Olivia Newton-John glided through eras with grace and grit. Before her 2022 passing, she fused pop stardom with cancer advocacy, turning hardship into hope. Her legacy glows in labs, lyrics, and lives touched by her radiance. Once the supreme voice of Motown, now a regal presence at 81, Diana Ross redefines longevity. From chart toppers like Ain't No Mountain High Enough to headlining Glastonbury decades later, she proves royalty in pop isn't inherited. It's earned performance after performance. Her voice once cut through synth pop like cathedral bells in a storm. Now 70, Annie Lennox channels that power into activism and soulful solo work. From Sweet Dreams to global women's rights champion, she's proof that anthems can echo louder off stage than on it. From Bond themes to duets with Prince, Shania Easton once ruled the 80s airwaves in heels and high drama. At 66, she graces concert halls and voice acts for animation, her Scottish lilt still magnetic, reclaiming stagecraft on her own polished, precise terms. Gloria turned her into a disco-era thunderbolt. Though Laura Branigan left us in 2004, her voice lives on, spinning in club remixes, soundtracking comebacks, and inspiring a new wave of vocalists who belt with abandon. A legacy frozen in power and pulse. Once a tabloid fixture turned pop provocateur, Samantha Fox now sings for LGBTQ+ pride tours and spotlights indie artists. At 58, the Touch Me star has reshaped her fame. Less flash, more fierce agency, showing reinvention can glitter just as loud as debut hits. From dethroned Miss America to billboards, save the best for last, Vanessa Williams turned scandal into a springboard. Now 62, she spans Broadway, film, and fashion, choosing diverse roles over pop formulas. Her career isn't a comeback, it's a masterclass in elegant reinvention. All I Want to Do soundtracked lazy 90s days, but Sheryl Crow traded radio gloss for activism and rootsy grit. Now 63, she's raising sons and speaking truth with a guitar in hand. From backup singer to Hall of Famer, her voice still stings, wiser, stripped down, and fierce. She once shattered glass, literally and figuratively, with vision of love. Now 59, Mariah Carey owns her icon status, from Christmas dominance to memoir mic drops. She's not chasing trends, she's curating legacy, one whistle note and perfectly timed tweet at a time. With Son of a Preacher Man, Dusty Springfield cloaked soul in British velvet. Though she passed in 1999, her blend of emotional rawness and vocal restraint echoes in Amy Winehouse and Adele. The pop world may shift, but Dusty's ghost still haunts its most aching corners. She once belted from bathhouses to Broadway, draped in sequins and sass. Now 79, Bette Midler plants trees, voices animations, and produces theater, her legacy rooted deeper than applause. From Wind Beneath My Wings to Earth's Defender, diva turned guardian. Like a glittering comet, she streaked through decades, each era bending to her will. Now 79, Cher launches beauty lines, tweets with bite, and headlines Vegas with stamina defying time. Believe wasn't a question, it was prophecy from pop's most enduring chameleon. Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover crackled with raw longing in the 90s. At 62, Sophie B. Hawkins crafts indie folk with cello in hand, raising her kids and queering the narrative, her career less chart-driven now, more about carving space with honesty and edge. Once the face of late 90s heartache with Torn, now at 50, Natalie Imbruglia blends indie releases with film roles and motherhood. Swapping Britpop gloss for emotional clarity, she's forged the quieter, sharper legacy, less MTV, more mindful storytelling. She went around the world with a voice as smooth as silk and just as strong. Now 59, Lisa Stansfield leans into soul-infused projects away from the mainstream. No longer chasing charts, she's crafting grooves with intention, proof that subtlety can still shake a room to its core. Like a cathedral in fog, Enya's music echoed beyond trends, ethereal and untouched. Now 64, she lives privately in a castle, still releasing layered sonic tapestries. While the world grew louder, she chose silence between notes, proving that mystery can be a genre all its own. With Angel of the Morning, Juice Newton blurred pop and country in the early 80s. At 73, she now plays intimate shows and mentors emerging songwriters. Trading arena spotlights for artistic depth, she's a reminder that longevity isn't about fame, it's about staying true to your twang. She didn't just sing fame, she embodied it. Irene Cara lit up the 80s with grit and glory, then stepped away to control her music on her own terms. Before her 2023 passing, she stayed behind the scenes, still sparking dreams in those chasing the spotlight. Like a perfume bottle sealed in time, her voice, delicate, smoky, still lingers in French pop. Now 52, Vanessa Paradis balances film, runway, and music with quiet force. From Jolu Taxi to Chanel Muse and Indie Auteur, she's drifted from idol to icon with intent. Toy Soldiers once marched across 80s airwaves with haunting honesty. Now 55, Martika writes behind the scenes and embraces spiritual healing, far from the spotlight. Her voice, once chart-bound, now uplifts quietly, choosing soul work over pop's relentless stage. She stepped out of Shalimar and into solo stardom with a flick of attitude and style. At 68, Jodie Watley runs her own label, DJs globally, and curates art-driven shows. From looking for a new love to forging new lanes, she remains a visionary of rhythm and brand. Piano in hand, she gave us Get Here, a ballad that transcended borders. Now 77, Brenda Russell composes for stage hits like The Color Purple, weaving soul into Broadway's bones. Her melodies, once soft storm clouds, now thunder through generations of storytellers. Her voice wrapped jazz and pop into silk, Beige's Time and Tide, swept through late 80s playlists like a warm breeze. Now 68, she performs selectively, favoring depth over volume. Still blending Polish roots with global rhythms, she crafts music that whispers truth rather than chasing trends. As rhythm guitarist of the Go-Go's, Jane Wiedlin made punk pop sparkle. Now 67, she's a comic book creator and animal rights advocate, far from the mosh pits, but still challenging norms. Her anthem, Our Lips Are Sealed, lives on, as does her knack for joyful rebellion. You Light Up My Life became a generational bomb in 1977. Debbie Boone, now 71, pivoted to Christian music and stage roles, choosing message over mass appeal. While pop stardom faded, she kept crafting purpose-driven art, an artist who let meaning guide her more than metrics. With The Fifth Dimension, Marilyn McCoo's voice lit up Aquarius / Let the Sun Shine In. At 80, she still performs with husband Billy Davis Jr., radiating harmony on and off stage. She's not just a legend, she's a living chord progression in the soundtrack of social change. Her voice soared like sunlight caught in silk, bright, weightless, and impossible to forget. At 75, Denise Williams performs gospel with the same radiance that lifted Let's Hear It for the Boy. Her range remains unmatched, her spirit rooted in something higher. She once gave disaster films their human pulse with The Morning After. Now 77, Maureen McGovern lives with Alzheimer's but chose to go public, using her voice for awareness, not silence. A singer turned advocate, her courage reverberates far beyond the stage. Studio smoke, disco lights, and a voice like velvet thunder, Amanda Lear once defined Europe's glitter era. At 85, she paints, acts, and writes, her legacy too wild for one medium. From muse to mastermind, she proves reinvention isn't a trend, it's her native tongue. Poetry Man was her breakthrough, but life's real verses were tougher. Before her passing in 2011, Phoebe Snow chose caregiving over career, raising her daughter, defying industry timelines. Her voice, raw and rangy, still haunts the corners where genre breaks. She crooned, Don't Cry Out Loud, but Melissa Manchester never stayed quiet. Now 74, she mentors young performers and records independently, fusing jazz, pop, and purpose. Her career isn't nostalgia, it's evolution, shaped by grit, warmth, and a voice that's aged like well-played vinyl. Lotta Love floated on breezy harmonies in 1978, but Nicolette Larson's voice held real gravity. Before her untimely passing in 1997, she bridged soft rock and country, collaborating with giants yet never chasing the spotlight, leaving behind a catalog as gentle and enduring as Sunrise. She brought cool clarity to Snowbird, then spent decades soaring above pop country trends. Now 80, and Murray enjoys quiet retirement, her legacy still echoing in crossover stars she inspired. She didn't chase reinvention, she simply perfected poise, letting her voice define the pace. I Am Woman roared through radios and rallies. Helen Reddy gave feminism its anthem. Before her 2020 passing, she had stepped back from fame, but her legacy kept marching forward. Her voice didn't fade, it became movement, etched into culture louder than any chart. Her raspy growl gave Betty Davis eyes its bite. Now 79, Kim Carnes lives in Nashville, writing for younger stars and recording on her own terms. Less spotlight, more songcraft, she's traded chart-topping fame for a quieter influence that still shapes how pop breathes. She once ruled percussion like a storm in heels, crashing cymbals beside Prince. At 67, Sheila E. tours with her own band, runs youth music programs, and shreds solos that make arenas tremble. Her rhythm was never background, it's the pulse behind generations. Mickey made her pop culture firecracker, but Toni Basil's moves rewired music videos. Now 82, she teaches choreography to Gen Z dancers and preserves street dance history. Her legacy bigger than a cheerleader chant, rooted in movement that reshaped media. Like a harmony tucked between radio waves, her voice blended strength and subtlety. Best known for Separate Lives, Marilyn Martin, now 63, records Americana, away from pop's glare. Not vanished, just shifted into the still spaces where musicianship breathes deeper. With The Happiest Girl in the Whole USA, Donna Fargo brought joy to country radio. Now 79, she writes poetry and reflects on a career shaped by optimism and resilience. Choosing quiet creativity over headlines, she proves that country legends don't fade, they settle into grace. From Quincy Jones' protege to Grammy-winning jazz icon, Patti Austin's voice has colored genres for decades. Now 74, she lectures, records, and uplifts rising talents. Whether belting Baby, Come to Me, or mentoring backstage, she shapes music not with fame, but with finesse and fire. She lent warmth to Your Love Has Lifted Me higher and higher, but Rita Coolidge's artistry runs deeper than soft rock hits. At 79, she embraces Cherokee heritage and authorship, channeling personal history into new forms. Hers is a career built not on stardom, but on soul. She rose from Jesus Christ Superstar to disco royalty with If I Can't Have You. Now 77, Yvonne Elliman performs selectively, having weathered fame with candor and calm. She didn't chase reinvention, she found her rhythm in reflection, letting legacy play at its own tempo. Her winsome charm won Eurovision, but France Gall's Réal voice emerged post-60s glitter. Before her passing in 2018, she championed women's autonomy in pop and created bold stage musicals. From Poupée de Cire to Fearless Auteur, she left behind more than melody. Like a back porch breeze with a wild streak, her voice carried blues, folk, and jazz in equal parts. Now 83, Maria Muldaur still tours small clubs, digging deep into American roots music. Midnight at the Oasis was just the start of her genre-crossing pilgrimage. Shaw's swirling voice like smoke, she ruled both Fleetwood Mac and solo stages. At 76, Stevie Nicks sells out arenas, writes poetry, and inspires witchy fashion lines. Edge of 17 endures, but at her spellbinding control of myth and music that defines her. She once tore a photo on live TV and shattered silence with Nothing Compares to You. Before her passing in 2023, Sinead O'Connor became a spiritual seeker and truth-teller, unfiltered, unbending. Her legacy isn't just a voice. It's defiance carved into history. Leopard print, powerhouse hooks. Shania Twain redefined country pop with Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Now 59, she headlines global tours with the same spark, choosing reinvention over retreat. After vocal setbacks and comebacks, she still crafts anthems that speak louder than genre. She spun from soap star to dance floor icon with Can't Get You Out of My Head. Now 57, Kylie Minogue still tops charts, balancing indie edge with glam pop polish. She didn't ride a comeback. She built a continuum, shimmering in disco gold and reinvention. Black leather, snarling riffs. Joan Jett didn't just love rock and roll, she owned it. Now 66, she runs her own label, mentors new punks, and rips through sets with the same raw fire. Her sound's not vintage. It's alive, a permanent tattoo on rock's rebellious skin. Her voice is moonlight over bass lines. Sod turns smooth operator into a whisper heard worldwide. Now 69, she releases music rarely but deliberately, maintaining mystique in a world of overshare. With each return, she reminds us, soul isn't shouted. It's softly, perfectly spoken. Her voice was wildfire, soulful, untamed, impossible to contain. At 73, Chaka Khan headlines jazz festivals, mentors new talent, and reclaims her catalog on her own terms. From Ain't Nobody to industry matriarch, she's not just funk royalty, she's its enduring flame. She once belted blues in smoky UK clubs, her voice a raw blade cutting through rock ballads. At 77, Elkie Brooks still tours with elegance, her tone deeper but no less fierce. From Vinegar Joe to solo acclaim, she's proof that grit can polish into lasting gold. She fused punk, rap, and soul in Buffalo Stance, rewriting the rules with style and swagger. Now 61, Nene Cherry collaborates with avant-garde producers and challenges genre lines. Never nostalgic, always forward, she's still building music's next frontier. Her voice helped define ABBA's golden age. Now 75, Agnetha Faltskog records selectively, recently returning with solo work steeped in reflection. She sidestepped fame's glare but never faded. Harmonies still thread through pop's emotional architecture. With a contralto that cut through synths, Alison Moyet made Only You Ache with elegance. Now 64, she crafts experimental solo work and champions neurodivergent voices. She's not chasing charts. She's sculpting soundscapes that echo lived truth, each note shaped by soul, not sales. She led the Bangles through jangly 80s bliss with Eternal Flame, her voice both dreamy and direct. Now 66, Susanna Hoffs writes novels, releases solo albums, and proves reinvention isn't always loud. It can hum with confidence, glowing long after the neon fades. Like mist over moors, Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights announced a visionary. Now 66, she remains elusive, emerging only when the art demands it, most recently reborn through streaming surges. She didn't follow pop. She rewrote its rules, turning eccentricity into enduring genius. ThenVsNow Legends is feeling a bit lonely. 99% of you haven't subscribed yet. Show us some love and hit that subscribe button so we can keep bringing you the jaw-dropping journeys of your favorite stars. And if you're as fascinated by then and now glow-ups as we are, check out our previous videos. Trust us, they're totally worth your time and ours too.